Imagine spending your entire life with someone you love, only to realize you don't really know the person you're waking up to every morning. I know that sounds scary, right? Now, what if that person is you? Today, we're delving into one of the most overlooked aspects of preparing for marriage, and that is understanding yourself. Before we dig in, I want to share a story to emphasize the importance in the preparation stage of preparing yourself for marriage by getting acquainted with yourself. Let us take a trip down memory lane. Malik had always been the planner, the one who saw 5 steps ahead, whether it was his career as an engineer or organizing weekend getaways. He always had it all mapped out. Tasha was a freelance graphic designer, creative, spontaneous, and just an all around free spirit. They complemented each other beautifully, like a compass and a map. One Sunday afternoon, Malik took Tasha to the art gallery where they had their first date. She knew something was up, especially when they stopped in front of the painting that had sparked their first deep conversation. It was a surreal landscape filled with mirrors. Malik got down on one knee and proposed. The moment was perfect, just like the movies, and of course, Tasha said yes. In the euphoria that followed, they dived into wedding planning. But as they sat one evening, sorting through guest lists and venue options, Tasha looked up and saw Malik lost in thought. "What's on your mind?" she asked. "We're planning a life together, but have we planned for ourselves? Do we know ourselves well enough to make this lifelong commitment?" Tasha paused. She had been so swept up in the romance that she hadn't stopped to consider Malik's point. She realized he wasn't just speaking as a planner in the relationship, he was speaking as a man committed to a journey and not just a destination. So they decided to take a premarital course that focused on self-knowledge and self-improvement. Through some good candid conversations, they discovered facets of themselves they had often overlooked. Malik realized he often took on too much to avoid confronting his fear of inadequacy. Tasha learned that her spontaneity was partly fueled by a fear of commitment and instability. The course became their mirror, reflecting who they truly were. They also picked up self-improvement books, becoming each other's accountability partners. These books acted as their maps, guiding them through their blind spots toward improvement. Weeks turned into months, and they grew individually and as a couple. They understood that knowing themselves was crucial for their vows to be meaningful. Their love didn't diminish, it matured. It was also fortified by the self-knowledge they had gained. Finally, the wedding day arrived, and as they stood at the altar, their vows had a depth that many feel but few understood. Because they weren't just promises for the future, they were affirmations of a journey within, of mirrors examined and maps followed. When they said "I do," it wasn't just an agreement to love each other, but as a commitment to continually discover and improve themselves for their own sakes and for one another. I know some of you may be asking, why is self-awareness and self-knowledge so important for a marriage or any relationship to work? I believe there are 10 reasons why it is important. And the first is emotional maturity. Marriage is not just about happy moments. It's about navigating challenges. It's about compromises and sometimes conflicts. A lot of times conflicts. Emotional maturity is a byproduct of self-knowledge, and it helps you deal with these aspects in a responsible and empathetic way. The second reason self-knowledge is so important is for compatibility purposes. Understanding your values, your beliefs, and your goals in life is essential for gauging compatibility with your partner. It's not just about what you like or dislike, but about understanding the non-negotiables in your life and ensuring that they align with those of your partner. Compatibility could be a big issue in a relationship. A lot of people divorce and they call those, or they sum up the issues as irreconcilable differences. So you always want to be aware of yourself and aware of who your partner is to know if you are compatible. The third reason why it's important to know yourself and to be self-aware is for the sake of communication. Knowing yourself aids in effective communication. When you understand your emotional triggers and your communication style, we all have our own personal emotional triggers, and we also have our own personal communication style. So being self-aware will help you be able to articulate your feelings and needs more clearly, thereby reducing a lot of misunderstandings and conflicts. A fourth reason why it's important for you to be self-aware and know yourself is for the sake of personal growth. You cannot grow within a relationship unless you know the areas within yourself that need growth. This could range from time management to anger management. Knowing these can help set the stage for a marriage that grows stronger with time. The fifth reason why you should be self-aware is you want to be able to gauge your financial readiness. Financial disagreements are the leading cause of divorce. Knowing your spending habits, understanding your attitude toward money, and being able to communicate this to your spouse can prevent tons of arguments down the line. A sixth reason why it's important for you to know yourself and to be self-aware is it'll make you more effective at problem solving. Understanding your coping mechanisms and problem-solving techniques can make or break a marriage. For example, if you're someone who needs time alone to think things through, it's better to know and communicate that beforehand rather than leave your partner confused and worried. The seventh reason why self-awareness is important, it helps you be able to set the right boundaries. Knowing yourself is the first step in setting healthy boundaries, from how much personal time you need to how you deal with in-laws. Boundaries are also crucial for your marital happiness. A lack of boundaries often leads to resentment and unhappiness in most cases. Another reason why it's so important to be self-aware before you say I do is each person has their own unique parenting style. If having children is in the picture for you and your spouse, your parenting styles will come into play, whether you like it or not. By knowing your values, your discipline style, and beliefs, you can better plan and prepare for a family with your partner. You want to be on the same page in this area And by being on the same page, you can alleviate many potential issues. The ninth reason why it's important to be self-aware is it helps you to set a proper work-life balance. If you understand your career goals and aspirations well, you can better manage your work-life balance, which is another significant aspect of a successful marriage. For instance, if you're highly career-oriented, communicating this can set some realistic expectations for both you and your spouse. So you want to be self-aware. You want to know what your motivations are. The 10th reason why it's important for you to be self-aware is because you need to love yourself to love someone else fully. If you're always seeking validation from your partner, it can strain the relationship. Being content with who you are alleviates this pressure and allows for a healthier, more balanced relationship. So, what should be the goal? Where do we start at? Where, oh, where do we begin? What are some action steps that a person could take to become self-aware? Are you ready? Here we go. Here are 10 action steps that you can practice and use to develop self-awareness before you get married. The first thing you want to do is you want to reflect on your past relationships. Consider your past relationships, consider your past friendships, and consider your family dynamics. I want you to identify or try to identify patterns or behaviors that may impact your future relationships. The second thing that you need to do to develop self-awareness is you need to identify your core values and your core beliefs. Clarify what values, beliefs, and principles that are important to you. You need to understand that these will help you choose a partner with similar values and goals. You should do this before you even start dating. I know some of you may be listening. You're not even in the dating stage yet. You may be considering dating someone. But before you jump into it, you should clarify what your values and beliefs are for you and yourself personally, and you should be aware of them. Remember that 2 Corinthians 6:14 through 17 tells us, do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship does righteousness have with unrighteousness? Having conflicting beliefs and values is, I believe I read a poll somewhere that said it was the 7th leading cause of divorces amongst married people. So you want to be able to identify your core beliefs and your core values in order for you to be able to find a person that you are compatible with. Having similar values and beliefs will help with that. A third thing that you need to do is you need to understand your emotional triggers. Understand what your emotional triggers are. Recognize what triggers emotional responses in you. Whether it's anger, it could be sadness, it could be anxiety. Anxiety is a major thing, and a lot of people have panic attacks and they lose control of themselves mentally because they're not aware of the thought that they had that triggers the anxiety. So you want to be aware and you want to understand what triggers you emotionally. The fourth thing that you should do is you should assess your strengths and your weaknesses. Evaluate your personal strengths and areas for improvement. understanding this, when you understand this stuff here, it will help you. It will help in knowing what you can offer and where you need support in a relationship. A lot of people look at the strengths and weaknesses of the person they're dating or the person that they tend to marry. It's rare for a person to look at what they can bring to the table, what strengths they could bring to the table, and what weaknesses they have that could take away from the table. So you want to evaluate your personal strengths, and you want to know what areas in your life that you need to make improvements on. The fifth thing that you need to do is you need to practice communication skills. Work on communicating your thoughts and feelings clearly, which can be tied to your emotions and understanding your emotional triggers, because your emotional triggers could aid you in communicating wrongly or not communicating and getting the message across that you want to get across. So remember, those things are connected. Your emotions and your communication skills. You want to work on communicating your thoughts clearly. Good communication is very crucial for any relationship, and developing this skill early. Develop it early because it will be beneficial in the long run. The sixth thing that you want to do, and I know a lot of people don't like doing this, but it is essential and it is very important that you do it, is you should seek feedback from others. Ask some trusted friends. You want to ask some family members. You want to ask some mentors for honest feedback about your behavior. You want to ask them for feedback about your attitude. This stuff can provide valuable insights and it show you how others may perceive you. But I advise you to be cautious on that, because you don't want to ask somebody who's very blunt and someone who could just use the truth and beat you with it. But you want to ask one of your family members that may be compassionate and understanding and empathetic. Helpful feedback is great. So seek feedback from others. The seventh thing that you need to do, sometimes you need to get professional guidance. Consider professional guidance. Therapy or counseling can be an excellent way to gain a deeper self-awareness. A professional can help uncover patterns and offer guidance on personal development. And I know within a lot of Christian circles, therapy is considered a bad thing. Mental health and taking care of yourself mentally is considered a bad thing. All you need to do is stop sinning, according to some Christians. But I believe personally that you should consider getting professional guidance, someone who has spent years studying human behavior and the human mind. You want to get guidance from some of them people. And sometimes they could help you uncover a lot of things in your heart and in your mind that you need to get out. And they could steer you on the right path. And they could help you develop personally. The eighth thing that you need to do is you need to engage in personal development. You should read books, listen to podcasts like this one, the Truth Be Told Project. I think you should also attend seminars. Attend seminars that focus on self-awareness. Attend seminars that focus on emotional intelligence. Attend seminars that focus on relationships. These aid you in developing personally. You want to develop and grow personally. You don't want to stay in your current position, you should always seek to grow. You should always seek to change. I never understood people that say, I'm never going to change. That's a terrible outlook to have in life. And you can miss out on a lot of opportunities and a lot of blessings because you choose to stay stubborn and not change. So read you some good books, listen to you some good podcasts, and attend seminars that focus on self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and relationships. The eighth thing that you should do is you should set some personal goals. Establish goals that align with your personal growth. Set some goals that align with your values as a Christian. Your goals should guide you in making decisions that support your journey toward self-awareness. And finally, the 10th thing that you should do is you should practice self-reflection. I think every day on a daily basis, whether it be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, or 35, or 30 minutes. Set aside some time to have a little introspection. You want to look within. You want to process some thoughts. You want to process some emotions. And one of the helpful ways that I've come to do that is I journal. I write stuff down. You want to have a little meditative reflection. You want to process thoughts and process emotions. And you also want to have prayer while you're having self-reflection. Prayer can help you reflect on your emotions. They can help you reflect on your decisions and your interactions. In closing, I want you to consider this. Remember this. Remember this. Write it down. Building self-awareness is a continuous journey. It's not a sprint. It's more like a marathon. It's going to take you some time. It's going to take you some effort. It's going to take you some intentional effort. The more you understand yourself, the better prepared you'll be for the challenges and joys of marriage. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in to the Truth Be Told Project podcast. Until next time.
Living by design, not just living by default. We are focused on our purpose, we don't compromise our walk. We got faith, we got vision, we are reaching for the stars. Stay true, keep it moving, cause we know just who we are. Yeah, biblical insights, community driven, practical living, yeah. This is a whole vibe, together we get it, together we winning, yeah. Here to make an impact that'll last. So welcome to the Truth Be Told Project podcast.